Here we go.
Eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those as subordinate. Read a matrix in the narrative, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we unfilled. That's what Israel. Wonder is a war. Rappers actors say they high, say they sick with pills. Glorifying suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real?
What up, what up, what up, what up? Smash the like. What up, chat? All right, so we got people coming in and out on little tours, I guess, people sitting around. So we're just gonna do what we do, you know? We'll be here for a couple hours, and then we'll be here tomorrow too, so if you're in the area, you can just link up with us. It's not many people out here, they like come in and out as it was a second ago. All right, we're just gonna get into it, you know. Wait up.
In a world. In a world where no one knows what the world is. Yeah. Alright. So anyway. I'm glad you guys came so we could teach you about the Earth today. So exciting. So, if the Earth is a ball, it has to curve like this arc does. Pretty simple stuff there. If the Earth is actually a ball, it has to curve, like the arc is curved. Yeah. Well, you can actually measure the surface of the Earth and see if it's doing this, and it's not anywhere in the world. So, due to censorship, we've had to go around the U.S. and get on a mic and try to tell people. So it's going to sound crazy, but that's the way it was engineered so that you wouldn't know what the truth is. I'm sure if I had told you the whole world was going to shut down and they would have told you 2 weeks and then it was going to be a year and a half, you probably would have thought I was crazy, wouldn't you? If I had told you would have had curfews and lockdowns like prisons do in America, you would have probably thought I was crazy. So let's just look at what the evidence is and not have predispositions, yeah? So anyway, what we do is we offer $100 cash to anyone that can answer 3 basic questions correctly about the globe Earth model. $100 cash. The first question, I even say what the first question is. According to the globe Earth, how many times does the Earth spin every day? How many times does the Earth supposedly rotate or spin every 24 hours? Easiest question I could think of. If you get that right, and the next two questions right, you win $100. You don't got to pay to play. You don't have to pay if you don't get anything right. $100, because when I say what I'm about to say, everyone acts like I'm crazy. But the truth is, I know for a fact that none of you guys know anything about the Earth, right? You don't know anything about it. So the truth is, the Earth is not a spinning ball in a vacuum. You can prove it. The Earth's actually flat. The Earth is flat, and it doesn't move. Now, I know it sounds crazy. I thought it sounded crazy too. But anyway, that's why I offer $100, right? Because if I'm so dumb and crazy for thinking the Earth's flat, you should at least know what it is I'm crazy for not believing in, right? Because if you don't know anything about it, then how can you say I'm crazy for not believing in it if I know everything about it and I tested it? Seems weird. That's like saying you know the Bible's real, you just haven't read it yet. Okay, so I do this to make a point. No one knows it. I'm not asking complicated questions, I'm asking very basic questions. The first one is, how many times does the Earth spin every day? Right? It's the easiest question I could think of. You get that, and the next two questions right, also very basic questions. Well, technically it's 0, but according to the model, right? The globe Earth model. So anyway, I'm going to break down how we know it's not a ball. If anyone wants to come up here to try to get the bread, $100 standing offer the whole time we're here. If you get 3 questions right. Super easy questions too. Alright. So we've actually measured the Earth and proved that it's not curving. You can literally measure it. So like I said, if the Earth's a ball, it has to curve like this arc does. Okay? It doesn't do that though. So how do we know it's a ball? Alright, we have an observation with mountains 273 miles away. Based on the globe Earth math, the mountain should have been blocked by like 3 miles of Earth curve. Yeah, we could see all the mountains. You can see the skyline of Chicago across Lake Michigan from 60 miles away. Based on the globe Earth math, the entire skyline should have been blocked by Earth curve. And the typical response we get is people, they'll never respond to these things. They'll just say, I'm stupid. They'll say, I'm stupid. Right? But can you answer that? If the Earth has a certain radius and it has to curve at a certain rate, and we see mountains 300 miles away, that should be blocked by 3 miles of vertical Earth curvature, yet you can see all the mountains. How's that work on a ball? Did I look through the curvature of the Earth, X-ray vision? Did I turn into Superman? The truth is, none of you guys have ever tested it, and it's not like I'm bashing you. I used to think that flat Earth was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But anyway, you can prove that it's not what they said it is. So did you guys know there's something called the Antarctic Treaty that says it's illegal for you to privately explore the Antarctic region past the 60th south latitude, which is effectively a circle drawn around you? So you don't know what the Earth is. It's literally illegal for you to go try to prove it's a ball. Okay? Most people are like, oh, what about people that go around the world? There's east to west circumnavigation, happens every day, works perfect on a flat Earth. The one that doesn't work on a flat Earth is north to south circumnavigation. That would debunk flat Earth right there. So all you gotta do is go around the globe, north to south. That would whip up our sign. That would shut down my website. It'd be over. Flat Earth done. It's never been done in the history of mankind, and it's illegal to even try to do it. Probably a coincidence. Probably just a coincidence. So no one's ever circumnavigated the Earth north to south. You can't go there. It's illegal. China, Russia, the United States have all agreed on the Antarctic Treaty. Oh, you know China, our enemy that we're about to go to war with? No, they're in a treaty with us. The longest lasting peace treaty in modern history, not even up for review till 2040.
Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
Oh, man. So what happened was the U.S. government went and explored this region in 1946. The United States military went and explored the Antarctic region in 1946. It's called Operation High Jump, declassified. Okay, the guy that did this for the U.S. military, his name was Admiral Byrd. He then came back, jumped on a nationally televised interview, and said, it's astonishing to me there's an area as big as the continental U.S. on the other side of Antarctica that no one knows about. And it has tons of land and tons of resources, but yet no one knows it's there. This is the guy that went and explored it for the U.S. military. Okay, starting in 1946. He had to do this interview in 1954. In perfect health, by the way. He mysteriously died of heart complications 3 years later. Mysteriously, his son died too right after he did that interview and was found in a warehouse. So anyway, that was 1954. He died in 1957. In 1958, they founded NASA. The year after he died. And then the year after that, 1959, they signed the Antarctic Treaty, which says it's illegal for you to go there. To this day, you cannot go to Antarctica. And you can Google it, can I go to Antarctica? This flat earther's crazy. And this is the most censored subject in the world, and you'll get, of course you can go. You can go on an approved guided tour for $20,000 to $80,000. Yeah, you can pay $20,000 to $80,000. They take you, don't let you get off the ship. You can't privately explore it, and they take you to less than 1% of Antarctica. You can't go there. I don't know if you guys are understanding the impact of this. If the Earth's a ball, you can go over this supposed ice cap called Antarctica and pop back up on the other side. It's illegal to do it. It's never been done in the history of mankind. You guys probably didn't even know the Antarctic Treaty was a thing, but you preemptively know I'm crazy. I'm the crazy one. So they drew a circle around you. They don't let you leave it. You didn't even know it was there. Didn't even know it was there. Okay, so that was in 1959. They signed the Antarctic Treaty. Then in 1961, JFK came out, and he said, the United States are going to be the first ones to go to the moon. I don't know if you guys still believe in the moon landing, but I'm about to dismantle that for you. Okay, so supposedly we went to the moon, right? JFK came out and said, we're going to go to the moon in 8 years. That was 1961. 2 years after the Antarctic Treaty, 3 years after NASA was founded, which means to deceive in Hebrew, but probably just a coincidence. To lift up and deceive. Alright, so then, 1962, the year after JFK said that, the U.S. government did something called Operation Fishbowl. All of this is declassified. And it was part of a bigger Operation Dominic, which translates to of the Lord. So it's Operation Fishbowl of the Lord. You can look all this up. And they shot high-altitude missiles in the sky over the next few months, mapping out the firmament. And I guess you guys probably didn't know this. This is probably in plain sight telling you there's a firmament on the Earth that you guys don't even know what it represents. But anyway. So the U.S. military mapped this region out, mapped out this different areas, different altitudes with missiles, all declassified. Operation Fishbowl. Okay. After this, JFK got assassinated 6 months after he did a speech calling out the powers that shouldn't be. Coincidentally, JFK, just a coincidence. It was a lone shooter, for sure. So then, in 1968, a movie called Space Odyssey came out. It was about a moon landing, and it won Film of the Year. Okay. Also in this year, one of the astronauts that was supposed to take us to the moon, he said, we'll never go to the moon next year. It's impossible. He said, we can't even get to low Earth orbit. We can't even communicate in our own buildings. He then hung a limit on the module. Guess what happened to him? You'll never guess. He died. Right after that. He exploded on NASA's facilities doing a routine checking of wires and died. Then they replaced him and miraculously went to the moon in 1969. Then they went to the moon that's supposedly 238,000 miles away. Called the U.S. president on a landline with no delay. Then they brought moon rocks back, supposedly. Well, they gifted these moon rocks to different governments. One of them was Holland. Well, guess what happened when Holland tested the rocks? They weren't moon rocks after all. They were petrified wood. So why did the U.S. military lie about moon rocks if they really went to the moon? Probably another coincidence. But no big deal. We can go back to the moon now, right? We have people in space all over the place now. That was the 60s. Actually, NASA says we can't go back. And world-renowned astronaut Don Pettit was asked about this. Can we go back to the moon? He said, I would go back to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we destroyed that technology. It's a painful process to build it back. I'm the conspiracy theorist, huh? You think that the U.S. military and NASA getting $60 million a day, every day, they get $60 million. They can't replicate technology from 1969. They can't go back to the moon in 2021 and I'm the crazy one. The other excuse they have is it's too dangerous because you have to go through the Van Allen radiation belts. They just got lucky and went back and forth through it like 6 times back in the 60s and early 70s. So the reason that the moon landing is such a big deal, did you know 1 in 3 Americans didn't believe in the moon landing at the time? It's really crazy how it worked out too, because people my age, they actually kind of think it might be real because they never even watched the movie. Now, the people that are older, they supposedly watched it, and they had this emotional connection to it, right? You know, I'm a boomer, we went to the moon, damn it. What have you done, millennial? Okay, it's a black and white movie. They're glitching out. The astronaut falls down, gets jerked up on harnesses. Buzz Aldrin is on record saying it wasn't a real video, it was an animation because no one was on the moon to tape it at the time. Buzz Aldrin said that. But you didn't know that? Guess if none of this is on CNN, it can't be true though, right? So anyway, the reason that's important to know if the moon landing is real or not is because supposedly in the Apollo missions in 1972, that's where we took a real picture of the Earth from space. That's when we proved definitively it was a ball. Well, the moon landings were real. So that is no big deal. We got real pictures of the Earth from space now though, right? Stupid flat earther. Well, actually we don't. I bet you didn't know that either. NASA admits we don't have real pictures of the Earth from space in entirety in 2021. Right? What's up with that? If you ever heard of the blue marble, one of the most infamous pictures ever, NASA admits that they took high-altitude pictures, stitched it together on a flat map, wrapped it around the ball, brought an artist in to do a rendition to match what the observer expects it to look like from space. This artist, his name is Robert Simmons. He's quoted as saying, of course it's photoshopped, it has to be. This is on nasa.gov's own website. You can Google it right now on your dumb phone. nasa.gov, blue marble. Read what they have to say about it. So there aren't real pictures of the Earth from space. Oh, I'm the crazy conspiracy theorist because I don't believe in cartoons. Admittedly, cartoons. Admittedly. So we supposedly went to the moon in 1969. Couldn't even get to low Earth orbit in 68, but we miraculously figured it out in 69. Jumped out, chilled on the moon, played golf. Called the president from 250,000 miles away with no delay on a landline. But we just can't go back. We can't go back 50 years later. We can't replicate the technology from 1969. Official excuse. We can't replicate the technology. We lost all the telemetry data. It was miles long of tape that was supposed to prove it. They accidentally recorded over it and lost it. Also official narrative. Official excuse. They lost all the evidence. They brought back fake moon rocks. And they still can't go back in 2021. And they admit they're not real pictures. They can't get far enough away, supposedly, to get the real picture. This is getting weird. Why do we give them $60 million a day and they can't do what they did in the 60s? A lot of people will say stuff like, billionaires just went to space. You crazy flat earther. Did you know they actually admit they didn't go to space and there were still clouds at that elevation? In case you didn't know that. Did you know the official story is that they were still within the Earth's gravitational field and that whenever they discovered or they experienced weightlessness, it was just because they were free falling down? It's called a vomit comet. You can pay like $2,000 and get on one and it'll look like feel like you're floating for about 5 minutes. That's what they did. And by the way, there's actually video of the most recent one where the whole entire rocket and frame glitches out separate from the background. So it's actually all fake, but it doesn't matter. No. Anyway, that's one of the main things we get when I just dismantle NASA. They're like, it's not just NASA that goes to space. What about Elon Musk? What about SpaceX? Do you know SpaceX gets hundreds of millions of dollars of funding from the government every year? And Elon Musk is on record saying we would have never got to space without NASA. And he had to give the government unimpeded access to 300 different employees and all of his records. So it's just an extension of NASA, actually. Do you guys believe everything the government says? Would the government ever lie? Did you know that NASA worked with Nazis? Also declassified. It's called Operation Paperclip. Because they put paper clips in different folders to pick out the different Nazis they wanted to bring over here. One of the Nazis that we brought over is supposedly the guy that took us to the moon. His name is Werner von Braun. Okay? It's spelled with a W, but it's German. Werner von Braun. He's supposedly the one that took us to the moon. You know, Nazis. I guess the reason we can't go back to the moon is we're fresh out of Nazis. I guess that's the problem. Because I'm pretty sure that the history class told you that Nazis were the bad guys. They seem to love them, though. So the government lies, but not NASA, except they work with Nazis, and they can't go back and do what they did in the 60s. NASA's the one exception. That's the one exception of the government that doesn't lie. So Werner von Braun, he actually he wrote a science fiction book in the 50s, and the main character's title is Elon. And in the book, Elon takes us to Mars. This was written in the 50s. You ever heard of Elon Musk supposedly about to take us to Mars? You guys think it's just a coincidence the Nazi prophesized Elon would take us to Mars in the 50s in a science fiction book? You're a coincidence theorist. You can look up everything I'm telling you about that. See, the whole trick is to just make sure you don't look it up. It's to make sure you don't research it. It's to make sure you stay ignorant. They know they can't debate it, so they just say, they attach a stigma to flat earth. You hear me say the earth's flat, now you have a position to make fun of me and it must make me stupid. IQ doesn't matter. Years of research doesn't matter. Testing it in physical empirical evidence doesn't matter. Declassified documents doesn't matter. The fact you know nothing about it doesn't matter. You can just call me names. It makes the earth a ball that defies physics. You should look at social engineering and how effective it is throughout the ages. That's how you take over a society. So anyway, we actually measured the surface of the earth. They lied about it. It's provably not a ball. It supposedly has a radius of 3,959 miles. This means that it has to curve at a certain rate, right? That's geometry. A radius is the distance from the center to the edge of a circle or a sphere. So it has to curve at a certain rate if it's a sphere. Well, can anyone tell me when we measured the curvature of the earth? Never in the history of mankind has it been measured. Well, guess what? We did measure the surface, and guess what it's not doing? Curving. Again, we saw mountains 273 miles away from an observer height of 9,000 feet. There should have been 3 miles of vertical curvature blocking it. So if a pregnant lady takes her hand and rubs it down her stomach to the other side, she can't see her hand anymore, right? Because her curved stomach is blocking it. That's what the earth has to do if it's a ball. You know, when they told you when you were in school, boats disappear over the horizon because of the curvature of the earth. Do you remember that? Yeah, that's what it has to do. It has to block your view. Well, guess what the boats actually do? They disappear till you pull a camera out and zoom in, and then you can see the boat again. Uh-oh, I guess my camera is X-ray vision. I'm done with a really high IQ. You thought this one out. And by the way, I've traveled the whole U.S. so far. That's the best we ever get, is the ad hom insults from the distance. You know, come up here and just debate the dumb flat earth. Let's see who knows more about it. $100 cash. Anyone that knows 3 questions about the globe earth? I'm so crazy for not believing it. No one here knows anything about it. You should be honest. If you don't know anything about it, how can you say you know what it is and I'm crazy for not believing in it, but you don't even know what you believe in yet? That's crazy, bro. We have observations that are impossible on the globe earth. And you guys are just gonna, like, that doesn't matter? It doesn't matter? Yo, we saw the skyline of Chicago across Lake Michigan from 60 miles away. And based on the globe earth map, it should have been completely blocked by earth curvature. Yet you can see it on a regular basis. We were just out there. What's up with that? Why can't we see mountains from 103 miles away, 255 miles away, 273 miles away? Huh. It's impossible. This is why the government has admitted they censor flat earth. So in 2015, the top 2 research terms were Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And right behind it was flat earth. It exploded in 2015. So what they had to do was come out and censor it and call it dangerous misinformation. Do you guys support the government forcibly censoring the First Amendment? Cool story. Because even if you disagree with me, which just means you don't know anything about it and you haven't researched it, but you should agree with my right to say it, right? Well, the government doesn't agree. I guess the First Amendment has a stipulation that says no flat earth.
Dude, you're a fucking idiot.
Okay, you wanna debate me?
No, there's no real value.
Do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is?
I do.
Define it.
I'm not gonna give you a
You don't even know what it is.
Go fuck yourself.
Do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is? I'll give you $100 if you can get 3 questions right about the earth. You're on camera. I know you might not know what live stream is, but I have an omnidirectional mic that's speaking. Yeah, come over here and get in front of the camera. Yeah, come on over.
Everyone watching this live stream is an idiot.
Get in front of it. Get in front of it. Come get in front of it.
Flat Earth?
There you go. Hey, do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is?
I hope people are donating to you because you're stealing their money from them.
Do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is?
You're an idiot.
You can't. You're a gamma mel.
You're totally what's wrong.
Do you know what
with
a gamma is?
I know that's what.
What's the radius of the Earth? Do you know?
Do you?
Yeah, 3,959 miles. What's the circumference? You don't know. What's the curvature rate? You don't know. How fast the Earth spins? You don't know. How fast it goes around the sun?
I'm just gonna.
So you're just ignorant.
I think you're ignorant.
I know all the answers. You don't know.
Hey, actually, I don't have anything to do, so I'm just gonna be here.
Perfect.
On your stream.
So answer the second law. What's the second law of
I'm not
thermodynamics?
gonna answer anything. I'm just gonna be here.
Okay.
I don't want you talking to these people.
Well, what are you gonna do about it?
I'm just gonna stand here.
Do you know what the First Amendment is?
I'm not the government, so I'm not infringing on any.
I'm just gonna make you look dumb then.
I'm gonna make you look dumb. You already look dumb.
I'm way louder than you, bud. So if you want to have a respectful conversation, you're a good representative. You're really nervous and you're shaking and twitching right now. It's because you know you're way out of your league right here. You
I
don't
don't
even
care
know.
if I'm out of my league.
What's the second law of thermodynamics? Does my IQ care about your opinion?
What does IQ have to do with anything?
You just sound an idiot.
Yeah, because you're a flat earther. You're a dummy.
Okay, so do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't matter.
You may
What
explain?
you're talking about is you're just lying to people.
No, I'm
You're
not.
just lying to people.
Okay, so you're saying we didn't really see a skyline of Chicago across Lake Michigan? You're saying I'm lying about it?
What the fuck does that have to do with flat
Well,
Earth?
it's impossible
How is
on
that
the globe.
flat Earth?
Because the skyline of Chicago...
All right, okay, here's what I want you to do.
You're going to keep interrupting me? I'm just going to ignore you.
No, actually, I'm about to let you talk for the next...
Get a little closer so we can put you on blast and chop you up as the gamma male you are.
The gamma male?
You're a gamma.
I hope I end up online.
You already are online.
What is this on Twitch?
It's on YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah, you look
wow,
dumb.
you can't even get on fucking Twitch, dude. What
Yeah, I
fucking
can get on
They
Twitch.
probably ban you.
No. Would you
probably
support,
ban you.
platforms banning people?
I support platforms banning people like you.
You don't even know what the second law is. You don't even know
The
anything.
second law of fucking thermodynamics has to do with Twitch and YouTube keeping you on their platform.
Okay, so...
I don't care, dude.
Do
You're an idiot.
spheres have to curve?
I'm gonna be here until you either leave
All right, I'll
or
just talk
it's the end
over
of the
this
day.
gamma male. The second law of thermodynamics is called the entropic law, right? So
guessing- are
you
you
can't have a
Sigma
pressure.
male?
If you get too close to me, you probably get hurt. So if I were you, I'd stop getting in my area,
I'm not
bro.
in anyone's
All
personal
right,
space.
so
You are in
anyway,
a public
keep
area.
on approaching me, and it's gonna not be good.
I'll stand right here.
Okay,
And
cool.
if you
Stay
wanna
right
make
there,
things-
gamma male.
If you want to make things
So
violent, that's your choice.
you stop getting in my face, bro. I'm sorry you're triggered. The Earth's not a ball, and you're ignorant about it, and you're the one that's actually
not
dumb.
a ball.
Okay, so anyway, something called the second law of thermodynamics. It's called the entropic law. If you touch any of my stuff, it's assault. All right, cool. Please, everyone wants to see how dumb you are. This is what we get, by the way. We get assaulted, attacked. We have people that come up and try to intimidate us, physically assault my camera. He's trying to block the stream right now. This is what we get, right? Now, I gave him a chance, did I not, to have a respectful conversation and dialogue. He knows nothing about it, so all he can do is call me names, insult me, right? That's all he's got. So anyway, the second law of thermodynamics necessitates that pressure fills the available space. I'm going to tell you what it is. He doesn't know, but I'll teach him to. Okay, so it says entropy will increase. Systems seek spontaneous equilibrium, right? So it's simple. I can give you an analogy. If you have a soda, it's really fresh. It's carbonated. It has a higher pressure. Whenever you open the soda, it goes psh, and it equalizes instantaneously to the low pressure around it because high pressure goes to low pressure. Heat goes to cold. That's called the second law of thermodynamics. As it applies to the Earth, how can you have a pressurized system sitting next to a vacuum? It's impossible. The pressurized system would fill the vacuum instantaneously, seeking equilibrium. Hey, get out from in front of my camera, man.
A bullhorn trying to yell at people.
No, I'm not on the bullhorn. You're the one coming up screaming, man. You're triggered. The Earth's not a ball. You think we went to the moon?
I'm not giving you any more material.
Then why are you even here?
Because I'm just gonna mess your fucking stream up. That's all I want to do.
What a gamma.
What a gamma.
You have nothing better to do today?
Sigma or what? Some.
I'm definitely not a gamma. So, anyway, based on the curvature rate of the Earth, right, you can't see forever on a ball, right? It has to block your view. So it has to curve at roughly 8 inches per mile squared. So based on the radius value, you have to see the curvature of the Earth at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Get out from in front of my camera, man. I'm sorry you're doing everything you can to get attention, but no one cares.
What are you doing? You're getting.
I'm actually trying to wake people up, and you're just trying to, like,
Nobody
be a loser.
wants to hear you.
Okay, so anyway. This guy's mad that Earth's not a ball. What a weirdo.
I got like
Yeah.
20 more minutes left.
No one cares. So based on the radius of the Earth, you have to see the curvature of the Earth at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So what that means simply is if you're 1 foot off the ground, you have to see the curvature at 1.2 miles away. We have an observation 1 foot off the ground in Cali, off the coast, and the horizon's over 10 miles away. Based on the globe Earth math, right, if it's a globe, then it would have to be 264,000 mile radius. But they claim it's under 4,000. We falsify the radius. If the radius is wrong, the entire model's wrong. Day and night cycle, gravity, planet, orbit trajectories. You know, to ever go to space, you need a gravitational orbit to get escape velocity. So if the radius is wrong, the entire thing is wrong.
If you guys need me to go, I'll get out of here. I'm not trying to do. I deeply disagree with this man.
So anyway, so the Earth has to curve at that rate, but it doesn't. This is why the government censors it, bro. This is why the government censors it. Like, you know, the same government that lied about the Vietnam War, the same government that lied about 9/11. Did you guys know that? They lied about Vietnam. They said Vietnam attacked us, but then they came out and admitted that we actually attacked our own ship to make it look like it was them so we could go to war. Because the people at the time in America were anti-Vietnam War. They were protesting. So the government just lies, right? So it's not China versus Russia versus the U.S. It's government versus people. They all signed the Antarctic Treaty. You should research it. It says it's illegal to go outside of a circle they drew around you. It's called the Antarctic Treaty.
guys don't want me for the camera, and that's what you guys.
So that's the situation here. Like, I'm just trying to wake people up, right? Like, this guy's trigger butt. Like, I put my business on pause. I'm traveling the United States. I've been kicked off Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Venmo, PayPal, and I don't even cuss. All I do is tell people that they lied about the earth and the Creator loves them. All right, and we're getting heavily censored by like monopolistic companies working with the government, which is called fascism, by the way. Right, so you guys should realize that we have the right to speak freely, whether or not you agree or disagree. If we don't have the right to critique the system or have freedom of press or freedom of speech, then we lose our freedom altogether. Well, they're forcibly censoring this conversation, and it's because you can actually physically measure it and see if it's real. You can prove it. Neil deGrasse Tyson, one of the famous scientists, quote-unquote scientists, he was supposed to debate Eric Dubay, but he backed out because you can't debate it. I debate aerospace engineers. I had people like this guy come up here and scream in my face and spit and cuss and call me names and call me dumb. I debate aerospace engineers. I debate astrophysics professors. Okay, so let's get real here. I talked to numerous physicists that say that the Earth is flat. All right, so appeal to credentials doesn't mean anything. You should just look into it for yourself. Also, appeal to majority doesn't mean anything, right? If you're going to make your opinion up based off what everyone else thinks, then using that logic, it's like you would have been cool with slavery back in the day. Like, who cares what everyone else thinks, right? People used to think slavery was cool. What's up, man?
I just want to make sure that this ain't going to cause a problem.
No, I know.
You're expressing your First Amendment right. He is also expressing his First Amendment right, disagreeing with you.
That's fine.
I mean, this isn't a protected area, so he can block your camera if he wants to.
Yeah.
I simply just want to make sure that the peace is kept.
I hear you.
I don't want anything to come to blows or anything like that.
Right.
You guys are more than welcome to have a disagreement if you would like. I certainly appreciate and approve of you expressing your First Amendment right, but at some point we're gonna have to turn that down a little bit.
Okay.
It is pretty loud.
I'll turn it down some.
Other than that, man, if you have any issues with anybody, give us a shout, okay?
For sure. Thank you, man.
I'll fist bump you.
Cool.
No, I know that.
Hey, will you turn it down just a little bit? All right, so anyway, in 1945, Operation Paperclip, the U.S. government brought Nazis over here, declassified. 1946, Operation High Jump, the government went and explored the Antarctic region, declassified. In 1954, the guy that went and explored the Antarctic region in Operation High Jump came out and said there's way more land and stuff that they're hiding and no one knows about it. He then died in 1957. All right, so he died in 1957, and then in 1958 they founded NASA. In 1959 they signed the Antarctic Treaty and said it's illegal for you to go there, and it still exists. All right, so there's a few things you could do that could easily shut down flat Earth, right? Like you could physically measure the curvature of the Earth. You could circumnavigate the Earth north to south and prove it's a ball. You could zoom in on a plane flying upside down in the south and prove it's a ball. None of this has ever been done. It's because it can't be done. You know how easy it is to just circumnavigate the Earth north to south, prove it's a ball? It's illegal to try to do it. People have actually tried to go see what's there and been intercepted and arrested without due process. So, every major world government has signed a treaty that says it's illegal for you to find out where you live. The government doesn't give us a right to travel, right? That's a free, God-given right, which is what the Declaration of Independence says, by the way. We get rights from the Creator. The Constitution is us articulating those rights. The government didn't give us rights and then say, here's the Constitution. It's us saying, here are the rights you can never infringe on because they come from the Creator. So right to travel is one of those rights. Well, apparently, no one here even knows what the Antarctic Treaty is. That's why it works. And then we have people like this, right? Like people that'll attack us, right? It's like if they just tack on a stigma to this conversation, then all you gotta do is call me dumb, and it means you're right. That's crazy, bro. That's dumb. Okay, so the second law of thermodynamics says the vacuum of space is impossible. Pressure would fill the available space instantaneously. You would have to have a container, which, by the way, is actually what this arch is probably representing. There's a container on the Earth. It's the only way you can have gas pressure. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. Not debatable. Aerospace engineers can't answer this question either. So anyway, another problem is something called fluid statics. Water finds its level. So how is 70% of the surface of the Earth ocean water that's level and flat and it's a ball? That's impossible. You know, if you have a bottle of water and I tilt it in every direction, it's going to find its level constantly. It's called sea level. We put fluid in levels. That's how we build things, because water finds its level. 70% of the surface of the Earth is ocean water. So I'll go through some of the basic questions people ask, like, oh, can you fall off the Earth? No flat earther thinks you can fall off the Earth. Can you fall off of a lake? Can you fall off of a pond? Can you fall off of a shore? No, the water's contained. Antarctic is known to have the highest elevation in the world, and it's a 60 south latitude around you. They don't let you go around, and it contains the water, which is convenient because water also conforms to its container and finds its level. So no, you can't fall off, right? It's illegal to even explore there. We don't know how it could be, in theory, infinite. We have no idea. It's literally illegal to go. And also the container could come down. We don't know. So no one thinks you fall off. That's dumb. But if you go Google it, you'll find boats going off the edge of the Earth, and they'll tell you that's what flat Earth thinks. If you Google flat Earth, you'll get Flat Earth Society, and there's not one real flat Earther, and everything they say is dumb. Another question we get is, so what about the other planets? Are the other planets flat too? No one said that. The Earth is not a disk in a solar system with spherical planets, which is what the Flat Earth Society will say, again, to make us look dumb. Even though the truth is that Flat Earth is compiled of some of the highest IQs, more open-minded, diligent researchers in the world. There's 16 million Flat Earthers in Brazil alone. This is why it's censored, though. This is why it's censored. Because some of us actually care that people are being lied to, and they know they're not going to shut us up, so they had to forcibly censor us and kick us off platforms, so we can't provide for ourselves. And I get death threats, and I had to turn down a 6-figure job offer because I wouldn't stop talking about Flat Earth. And that works. That and the ridicule works for the most part, right? You'll have people like this just ridicule you. And so that's why it's still working. But anyway, the Earth is the bottom floor. It's the bottom of everything. The Earth is flat. It's the bottom of everything. The stuff in the sky has nothing to do with what the Earth is. It moves over top of the Earth. And it does this for all recorded history. People ask about the planets, and most of the time they associate cartoon pictures of the planets and think they're real. Right? They think I'm crazy because they don't know that they are believing in cartoons. They don't even know they're cartoons. They think that makes me crazy. But they're cartoons. But I document the sky a lot. You can look at the planets, right? Planet means wanderer. It's a wandering star. Okay, they move a little different than the other stars, but they all move east to west. Every single light in the sky moves east to west, and they start back over every year. Around Polaris, that's the North Pole star, which is the center of the sky. It's directly over the center of the surface of the Earth, and the sky just resets, bang, 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 every year for all recorded history for thousands of years. All recorded history, the sky has done the same thing, reset in perfect concentric circles around Polaris. You can time-lapse star trails. Now, most people didn't know that. I didn't know that when I first found out about Flat Earth either. You would think the stars are changing over thousands of years, right? We're shooting through space. Turns out they're not. They reset perfectly every single year around Polaris, which is directly over the North Pole star. Okay, so the Earth's not moving. It's not in a solar system. It lures your soul. No, the Earth's the bottom floor of everything. The sky resets over top of us like a clock, effectively. We have 77 constellations. They're constant. Okay. Egyptians built megalithic structures that line up with the same stars today as they did back then, thousands and thousands of years ago. The sky just does the same thing every day, bro. Every single year. It resets. So what this means is that the Earth is something called geocentric. I tell you that the Earth's in a heliocentric solar system. That means that we revolve around the sun. Well, the truth is the Earth's actually geocentric. It's stationary. It's the bottom floor. Okay. Everything in the sky is up above us. We're not up in the sky. That's dumb. We're not in the sky. The sky's above us. The Earth is flat. The sky moves. We don't move. They say that the sky's actually sitting still. It just looks like it moves because the Earth is moving and you can't tell. I thought I was a conspiracy theorist. So the official story is that the stars are sitting still. They just look like they move. Because we're moving, we just feel like we're still. That's the official story that I'm crazy for not believing in. So what this means is that when you see the sun move through the sky in the day, it's not actually moving. The sun is sitting still. And during a sunset, you're falling backwards 1,000 miles an hour. And it makes the sun look like it's setting. You ever watched a sunset? You know what Flat Earth says? The sun moves in the sky. The stars move in the sky. Very simple. Has anyone ever felt the earth spinning? Of course not. Not unless you were hammered. And if you are, you get the spins, you got to roll over, throw your feet on the earth so you stop spinning. That's because the earth doesn't move. Provably. There's no evidence for the earth ever moving ever. So anyway, the stuff in the sky moves. Like the problem is, this is why they didn't teach you. This is why it's censored. Because if they told children, which is the main reason I do this, children are being lied to, and they're told that they're a tiny speck of dust in this huge universe. They could get hit by asteroids and die, just like it killed the dinosaurs, and nothing's important about them. They came from apes and all this crazy nonsense. Everything came from nothing, right? They think they're insignificant, lost in space, and that they could get hit by an asteroid. None of that's real. They live on a very special Earth that was created for them. Right? So if they told the child, look, here's the two options. When you see the horizon, it's either horizontal, which is where horizon comes from, or it just looks horizontal, it's actually curving and you can't tell. And whenever you don't feel the earth spinning, well, either it's because it's not spinning, or it's because it's actually spinning 1,000 miles per hour and it's just so big you can't feel it. And whenever you see the sun and the moon move in the sky, they're actually sitting still and you're just moving, and that's why it looks like that. Or the earth isn't moving and the sun and the moon move in the sky like you see it. They don't tell the children that because they would see through the lie. They told us all this lie when we were like 5 years old. They had to indoctrinate you from a young age. And most people in their adulthood out here still can't win the $100. They don't even know what the radius is, the circumference is, and they don't know any of the basic stuff, right? But they know we're crazy. See, the truth is we just actually went and researched it. Every question I asked, the flat earthers can answer off the top of their head because we researched it, tested it. We didn't want to be a flat earther. We thought it was crazy. But most people can't swallow their pride enough to look into it. So that's what it comes down to. So anyway, another thing is, you should tell the child this then. Because you shouldn't brainwash children. You should teach them critical thinking skills. You should give them the information and say, critically assess this and figure out what the evidence supports so you can come to your stance. They don't teach them that. They say, regurgitate this. Here's some pictures of cartoons of planets. Remember their names. It rains diamonds on this one. And if you don't get the order right, you fail. They don't tell them all the different options. Like the sun and the moon, they look like they're the same size in the sky. Now what Flat Earth says is the sun and the moon are the same size in the sky. What the globe earth says is the sun's actually 400 times bigger than the moon. It's just coincidentally also exactly 400 times further away. So they look like they're the same size. That's a cool story. That's a cool story, bro. So you see the problem here? Flat Earth has all empirical evidence ever. So the only way that we can make a claim antithetical to, which means opposite to, the flat Earth, is if we have some evidence. So there's got to be evidence there to all, right? There literally isn't. There's no physical measurement of curvature in the history of mankind. NASA admits they don't even have real pictures of the Earth from space. You guys don't even know that yet, though. They admit they don't. They admit they're cartoons. They say it's too hard to get out there. It's too dangerous. But you guys don't know that. So if they show you a cartoon, you see it, and you're like, that's the Earth. They don't have to tell you it's a cartoon. They just have to show it to you, and you assume it's real. That's how it works. They actually don't lie, by the way. It's legal protection. They can't blatantly lie. So when you go to their website, it'll say image, not picture, ever. And then if you go track it down, it'll tell you that it's computer-generated, composite images, they Photoshop clouds, etc. So there's no real pictures. But we have real pictures that you can go and do yourself. See, technology outpaced the lie. Nikon came out with a camera. It's called P900. Now they have a P1000, 83x, 125x zoom. You can go look at the Earth and see if it's curving yourself. You can do it yourself. But most people just won't do it. They'll just make fun of me, and that makes the Earth a ball. Duh. You can go test it yourself, though. Go prove that I'm dumb. Go prove I'm crazy. Just go test it yourself. Are you scared to go test it? Are you scared? Why not go test it? Go make observations over long distances of bodies of water and see if the curvature is where it's supposed to be based on the radius value. Everybody that's done that has turned into a flat Earth. Because it's very easy to debunk the globe Earth. All you have to do is go try to make measurements of the surface. Every measurement of the Earth ever in recorded history assumes the Earth's flat. That's how we have distances and maps. Did you know the U.S. military still uses a flat Earth map to navigate? What's up with that? Do you know that there are dozens and dozens of declassified military documents that say the Earth is flat? What's up with that? I guess the military's trolling you. Oh, but you've never read it, so you preemptively know it isn't real. Alright? Because it sounds crazy. You can Google it, though. Google this. Electromagnetic propagation over a flat earth.gov. That's a declassified military document when they were engineering weapon systems, towers, ground weapon systems of towers. They had to assume the earth was flat. It was a dielectric plane so that the propagation would work efficiently. Did you know that when planes are engineered, they assume a flat, non-rotating surface? So when the military creates a fighter jet, guess what they do? They assume the earth's a flat, non-rotating surface. Most people think they can see the curvature from a plane, right? Because they'll just hear it, or they'll Google it and just believe it. Well, I know literally over probably 200 pilots. No one sees the curvature of the earth in a plane. See, Neil deGrasse Tyson, one of the top scientists from your side, he says you can't see the curvature of the earth from 380,000 feet in the air, much less 30,000. But most people don't know that. All you gotta do is come up here and call me names and say you can see it from a plane. I have, and they'll just lie and say they've seen it. But you can't see it from there. We saw balloons up 120,000 feet in the air, and the horizon was still flat at 120,000 feet. Hundreds of times, all around the world. All right, this is why it's censored. You can test it. You can prove it's not a ball. You can prove it. I definitely agree. It sounds crazy. I thought it was one of the craziest things I've ever heard. But that doesn't really change anything. See, if you ever heard of Mark Twain, he said, it's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled. That's what we're dealing with right now. I could trick you more efficiently than I can tell you that you've been tricked because of pride. Okay, so there's someone called Marconi. He sent radio waves, right? Marconi. You can Google this as well. So he sent radio waves, and he was going to try to hit a target over 2,000 miles away. Now, all of his detractors, the people that said he wouldn't be able to do it, they said, you can't send a radio wave 2,000 miles. The curvature of the earth will stop it at about 200 miles. He said, well, I'm going to try it anyway. You know, like the first guy to ever do this radio transmission. So then he sent the radio transmission 2,000 miles, and guess what happened? It hit the target perfectly on the first try using line of sight. An assumption of a flat earth. The first time. You can send radio waves 10,000 miles and hit your target, assuming a line of sight. So then they came up with a story that said, oh, well, then that must mean that actually since the Earth's dropping down around it, or below it, that the flat propagation of radio waves is actually going up into the sky. And it must ricochet and reflect back down somewhere. So they did math and they said this is where it reflects back down because the Earth can't be flat. We got to assume it's a ball. So how can you send radio waves 2,200 miles on your first try and hit your target using line of sight if the curvature of the Earth would block it at 200 miles? Huh. Yeah, that's why whenever the U.S. military creates any type of technology, they assume a flat, non-rotating surface. You know why? Because it's the only way it would work. And when people's lives are at stake, and when you actually have to go get the bad guys, you can't afford to mess around and assume the Earth's a ball. You know, when a sniper sees the target, they don't say, never mind, he should be hidden by the curvature of the Earth, so that's probably a mirage. No, you know what they do? They line it up and take the shot. The U.S. military still uses flat maps whenever they are going to find an enemy target. They still use flat maps to navigate. They still use flat maps and flat Earth assumptions when they engineer planes and fighter jets. What's up with that? They have a patent for a railgun that shoots 100 miles, doesn't account for the curvature of the Earth. How can that work? Huh. Which is pretty classified. So there are dozens of military documents that say the Earth is flat. I guess the military's trolling you. It must make me dumb. You should read it, maybe. You know why it's called a plane? Because it flies over a plane. Assumes a flat, non-rotating surface over and over and over. Everything that they create, everything that they use. What's up with that? Can anyone here name one practical use case in the world that assumes the Earth's a ball and that's how it works? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Trust me, I get it. It's pretty shocking truth. I thought it was crazy too. Doesn't change it. Truth is stranger than fiction. It's also independent of emotional connections or predispositions or people calling you names or anything like that. Right? Informed people don't care what ignorant people think. What you should do is inform yourself and not worry about what everyone else thinks. Or you would have been cool with slavery back in the day. So anyway, there's provably not a spinning ball in a vacuum. Provably. You can't have pressure sitting next to a vacuum. It's impossible. right? And so what most people say is, you don't believe in gravity? See, people were taught to just say the word gravity, effectively like it's their God. So when I say, did you know that there's $1 million reward for anyone that can demonstrate water bending around the outside of a ball and sticking to it while it spins? You'll win $1 million, and no one's ever won it. They'll just say, so I'm like, how does water bend around a ball if water always finds its level? They'll say, gravity. Any question they can't answer, they just have to call out their God, gravity. All right? And so I'm like, how can gas pressure sit next to a vacuum if the second law of thermodynamics says that's impossible, because the pressure will instantaneously seek equilibrium, filling the lower pressure system? Gravity. So we can talk about gravity. No one here really knows what it is. Most people might think it's mass attracting mass. That's over 100 years old. That's not even what it is anymore. That didn't work. It got debunked. Okay? It's called the theory of relativity. It's a theory. And it says gravity is the effect of the bending and warping of space-time. Space is a concept, an idea of emptiness. Time is a concept. It's how we count what the sky does. You can't bend and warp concepts. Can you bend freedom? No. So anyway, so there has to be scientific evidence of gravity though, right? Oh, there's actually not, ever. So what most people do is they'll walk up here and they'll drop something and then they'll laugh at me. That's gravity. No, whatever you dropped was more dense than the surrounding air. That's why it went down. When you drop a helium balloon, what does it do? It goes up. Is the helium balloon gravity proof? No. It's lighter than the surrounding air. That's why it goes up. It's less dense than the surrounding air. It's very simple. Density and buoyancy. If I take a beach ball up and I throw it in the air, it falls down because it's more dense than the air. If I take it to the bottom of a pool and I let it goes up because the pool is more dense than the beach ball. Right? It's called relative density. Also, everything that exists is something called electrostatics. Okay, so if you take a balloon and you rub it on your head and you stick it to the wall, it'll stick there because of electrostatics. Electrostatics is 10 to the 39th power. That's 39 zeros. Stronger than gravity even claims to be. Yet you can't get rid of it. Everything that exists is electrostatic. So gravity is just a theory. They admit they can't isolate it. There's no scientific experiment to prove it. The theory of relativity is the best we have right now, but it's actually falling apart. Did you know the only actual evidence of gravity is that if the Earth's a ball, gravity has to exist? Literally, it explains something called omnidirectionality. You stick on all directions on the ball. So gravity has to exist. An immense force has to pull you in all directions so you don't fall off. That is the only evidence for gravity, is assuming the Earth's a ball. But there is no actual evidence for it. It's called the theory of relativity. And most of you guys don't know this either, but whenever they assume the theory of relativity is real, and then they go apply it to the quote-unquote universe, it's off by 95%. So in 2021, the best that the globe Earth side can come up with trillions of dollars, all the quote-unquote scientists, all the degrees, all the universities, all the professors, is 95% wrong. It's called dark matter and dark energy. It's not even close to right. It's a theory that has no evidence, and when you test the theory, it's not even mathematically right. So the globe Earth model hasn't even been mathematically proposed yet in 2021. It's literally a lie. They're trying to explain something that doesn't exist. It's very simple. You can't have a near-perfect vacuum adjacent to a pressurized system. That's impossible. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. That's a natural law. It's not a theory. Unlike the theory of relativity, this is real. It's a natural law. It's not what we came up with. It's what happens always for all recorded history. It's a natural law. It's not debated. So you might ask yourself, well, why did they come up with the idea that it's a vacuum if it's that easily debunked? It's because the Earth cannot be a spinning ball in a heliocentric model inside of the universe unless space is a vacuum. It has to be. And these lights have to be thousands of light years away. They did not go measure something thousands of light years away. It has to be at least that far away for it to even be possible that the Earth's a spinning ball. This is because the sky resets for all recorded history in perfect concentric circles around Polaris. Bang, 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 for thousands of years. So what they say is, well, actually, it looks like that, but the sky is still and we're moving, and we're also spinning while we revolve around the sun, and it shoots through space 500,000 miles per hour, and the galaxy shoots 1.3 million miles per hour. But the reason you can't see the stars change is because they're actually thousands of light years away. That's where they came up with the number. They did not go measure it. And that's why it constantly changes. The supposed distance to the sun has changed 6 times. They have to constantly update the model. Yet you guys go around thinking we know everything about it perfectly and you know exactly. No. It changes like every couple months. But you guys don't keep up with it. That's why the whole trick is to make sure you don't research this or know about it or keep up with it. So you won't know it's changing. You won't know how to test it. So all you have to do is test it by seeing if the radius is real. Because if the Earth is not a sphere with a radius value of 3,959 miles, the whole model's wrong. Everything's wrong. Day and night cycle uses that number. Gravity's theory that doesn't exist uses that number. Distances on the Earth. Distances on the Earth. You guys know we know distances on the Earth, right? We actually know how far away thing is. Like say I'm going to go from Chicago to St. Louis. I know how far away it is, right? Well, if the radius is wrong, the distances on the Earth would be wrong if it's still a sphere. It's impossible. It can't be. The whole model falls down if the radius is wrong. Well, guess what flat earthers did? We honed down the radius. We wanted to know if it was true. Because, believe it or not, it's not easy to be a flat earther, especially an outspoken one like me. I get death threats. People come by and call me dumb and call me stupid, but know nothing about it. I lost a 6-figure job. I've been kicked off Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Venmo, PayPal, even payment processing companies like PayPal have kicked me off. But we do it because we know this is right. We found out what the truth is, and we actually tested it. I did not go into this conversation thinking, I hope it's not flat. I just wanted to figure out what the truth is, and we found out that they lied. You can make measurements of the Earth. It's not curving anywhere. Okay, we saw Chicago across Lake Michigan from 60 miles away. That is impossible on a globe Earth. It should have been completely blocked by curvature. We have many observations like this, so we falsify the radius, and thus we falsify the entire model. So there you go. That's what it boils down to, the falsification of the radius. I'm trying to think. So the basic questions we get is like, would you fall off? Like, no, you can't fall off of a lake, can you? So they've told you these questions to ask Flat Earth because they want you to think Flat Earth is stupid. As long as you associate Flat Earth with stupid, then you won't critically assess it. So you ask questions like, oh, well, let me guess, you fall off. Let me guess, the rest of the planets are flat too. When flat earthers don't think any of that nonsense. But that way you don't know what we really think. And when you Google it, you get Flat Earth Society. So Congress admits that they censor Flat Earth. They admitted this openly, on record. They censor Flat Earth. But when you Google it, you get Flat Earth Society. Why don't they censor Flat Earth Society, though? I thought they censored Flat Earth. Oh, they prop up the fake organization that tries to make us look dumb. If Flat Earth was really dumb, why wouldn't you just let us look dumb? Why'd you have to lie about what we really said to make us look dumb? Because we're far from dumb. We're far from dumb. So that's why I offer $100 cash to anyone that can answer 3 questions about the Earth, and no one around the whole U.S. has gotten the money. They don't know anything about the Earth. All they do is call me names or laugh. How do we see mountains from 273 miles away if the globe Earth mass said it'd be blocked by 3 miles of vertical Earth curvature, yet we could see the mountains? Never get an answer to that. I don't get answers to these questions. I just get insults, right? If I insult this guy, the Earth's a ball. NASA would never lie. So anyway, I'm going to probably take a break. But here's a simple conclusion, right? They lied about the Earth. It's geocentric. That means the center of everything. It's a stationary plane. We have mountains and valleys. It's a topographical plane, okay? There's something outside of you. It's an ice ring. It's illegal to go there. Every major world country signed a treaty that says it's illegal for you to go past the 60th south latitude, which is a circle around you. It's called the Antarctic Treaty. It was signed in 1959, the longest lasting peace treaty in modern history, not even up for review till 2040. China's in agreement with it. Russia's in agreement with it. There's like 59 countries. Every major world superpower has agreed that it's illegal for us as the general public to go research and explore this region freely. And this is after they did something called Operation High Jump, where the U.S. military went and explored this region in 1946. So they went and explored it. A few years later, they came back and said it's illegal for you to go explore it. And it still exists, the Antarctic Treaty. And then they founded NASA. They founded NASA the year before that. So like, oh, don't worry about the Earth. We explored it for you. Look up in space. Then they claim they went to the moon, but they still can't go back. So they lied about the moon landing. But that supposedly proved the Earth was a ball. And that's the only supposed real picture of Earth in entirety, by the way. So it's getting weird. So in conclusion, the Earth is geocentric. That means the center of everything. Okay, so this is a huge... I'll answer this question before I take a break. Everyone asks me, why does it even matter? Why would they lie? Who cares? It's a defense mechanism because this makes them uncomfortable. But why would they lie? Do you care if children are being lied to? Does that matter? Does it matter that like 5-year-olds are being told that they came from apes and that they're animals and that everything came from nothing? And they're a tiny speck of dust in this huge universe where an asteroid could hit them and nothing special about them. And there's a grain of sand in this huge vacuum of nothingness and black void where they could die at any moment like the dinosaurs did. And that they can't trust any of their senses. And they're not going to feel like they're spinning, but they're actually spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Right? But no big deal if children are being lied to, right? Did you know NASA gets $60 million every day? Oh, no big deal if they're just stealing taxpayers' money, which the government steals way more money than that. So, but $60 million a day goes to NASA, and they admit we don't have real pictures, they're just cartoons. They admit that they're just cartoons. Okay? There's also, once again, something called the Antarctic Treaty. They drew a circle around you. They don't let you privately explore the Earth. So they're hiding potentially tons of land and resources. Would people ever lie to hide land? Of course they would. So why would they lie? It's not a good question. Why would they not lie? When do they not lie? Why did they lie about weapons of mass destruction? And then they said, oh, never mind, there are no weapons of mass destruction, but we're going to stay over there for 13 more years anyway. Why'd they lie about that? Why'd they lie about the Vietnam War? Why'd they lie about how fluoride's a neurotoxin, yet they put it in your water as if they're trying to take care of your teeth? Why they lie about the Tuskegee experiment? We could talk all day about when they lie, and you don't know why they lied. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. But there's plenty of reasons to lie. They drew a circle around you. They said, stay in your playpen, good slaves. And it worked so well that in 2021, as we travel the United States, no one even knows the circle exists. But you can verify it and go read it from their own words. They tell you. They drew a circle around you, and you're not allowed to travel outside of it. It's illegal. You've been trapped in a playpen. You can research it, but none of you guys know it exists. So I would say the circle works pretty well if you don't know it's there, huh? You guys ever seen the Hunger Games? Yeah. They sit there and show you what they do, but you guys don't know. They lie on the news and they tell the truth in TVs and movies. Did you know that Operation Mockingbird is declassified, that the CIA runs the mainstream news? Declassified. Declassified. And in fact, whenever a CIA representative was asked about this, they said, wait, are you saying that the news anchors are CIA agents? And the CIA representative said, we're going to have to continue this conversation behind closed doors. So you're watching the news every day. You're watching the CIA. But they tell you the truth in the movies. Have you guys ever heard of the Truman Show? Jim Carrey, Truman Show, True Man Show. He thinks he lives on a globe, but the whole time he's inside of a dome. You guys ever thought about what this arc actually represents? No, it's just pretty bendy metal. Never thought about it? You guys ever wondered why every Capitol building in every major city of the U.S. has a dome? Interesting. Now, we actually can't perfectly verify the altitude or where the dome comes down or if it does or anything like that. See, flat earthers are flat earthers because we stick with what we can empirically validate. We just know they lie. The pressure on Earth's contained. The Earth is flat. It's not moving. It's the center of everything. We don't make claims about how big it is. It's illegal to go find out. But your side thinks they know everything. They know exactly how big it is. So people say, well, what's on the other side of the flat Earth? Well, the deepest hole ever dug is 7.8 miles. It's called the Bohr Hole in Russia. No one in the history of mankind has ever dug deeper than 8 miles. And actually, the globe Earth had predictions the whole way down to 8 miles based on the supposed layers of the globe Earth. And it was wrong the entire way. They said it'd be hot, but it was cold. They said it'd be wet, but it was dry. It was wrong with like 8 different predictions, 8 miles down. And you guys think they know what's 3,959 miles down? Of course they do not. But that's what they said that the radius is. So you can test it, and we falsify the radius. You can literally test it. This is why it's censored. And the reason it's important, because it shows every major world country lied to you. And guys, in case you weren't present last year, every major world country shut their country down the same day and gave you curfews and lockdowns. I don't know if you guys were here for that. You know, prisons have lockdowns, not free countries. Yeah. So, like, when you're in the pen, you got to chill in the cell or the pod for a second, right? You get to kick in the pod, then you have a curfew. You got to go back to your cell for curfew for lockdown. You hand them out. So that's what it is. It's a prison being built all around you. There you go. It's a QR code. Yeah. So they're building the new world system, and they wrote about this. And so what they have to do is they have to put you in lockdown and let you out, and then put you back in and let you out so you get used to it. They wrote about it before it happened. So expect it to happen again. I predicted all of this on YouTube like a year and a half ago. I can't get too specific because YouTube will kick me off. So that's such a free country we live in. So yeah, that's why we're traveling the U.S. trying to wake people up, because we really don't know how much time is left. And as we go through the U.S., well, I own a business. I had to put on pause to do this. I spent a ton of my own money to do this. We're traveling the U.S. I've been heavily censored, lost really good job offers for this, but just because I actually want us to pass on a free country and free world to our children. That's the actual reason, right? And like, it's easy to just ignore it because it makes us uncomfortable. But whenever they look up at you and they say, "Mommy, Daddy, what were you doing?" Whenever the government took over, and be like, "Oh, I was posting a pic for the gram." You know, I was on TikTok talking about small waist, pretty face, and the Big Bang. All right, so there are things more important than social media. Which, speaking of, by the way, the government runs that too. Hate to bust your bubble. DARPA creates military technology for the U.S. government, and they created a platform identical to Facebook. The day they ended it, the very next day Facebook started. The government runs Facebook. Facebook owns IG. So it's not going anywhere. Don't worry, your grant's not going anywhere. Well, we can actually use these platforms for good if we all stand together. But if we don't, what happens is people like me that tested the earth and proved it, and the 16 billion of us in Brazil, all around the world, when we go out, we just get kicked off of every single platform. We get kicked off PayPal. Right. So, again, and I'm going to take a break, drink some water, but I'm trying to keep up with who else heard what. We saw mountains from 273 miles away. Based on the globe Earth math, the mountain should have been blocked by 3 miles of Earth curve. 3 miles. Yeah, we can see the mountains. How's that work? It doesn't. Yeah, the Earth is already.
It has no hemisphere. Like, there's nothing.
It's a trip. It's a pretty big rabbit hole. We saw the skyline of Chicago from 60 miles away, from like 6 feet off the beach. The globe said it should have been completely blocked by Earth curve. How's that work? It doesn't work. That's the answer. Oh, you see mountains from 255 miles away. The top of the mountain should have been blocked by a mile of Earth curvature. Yeah, we can see it. How's that work? It doesn't work. You can prove it. Hey, if water always finds its level, how is 70% of the Earth covered in water? And water is always flat. How does it make it a ball? It's dumb.
How can you see the sun and the moon at the same time?
You see the sun and the moon at the same time, they got excuses. And then the sun and the moon are the same size, and they say the moon is actually 400 times smaller. It's just a coincidence.
It's weird.
Yeah, you'll never see the world again the same. So really, I guess that's what you should do from here on out. You should just rethink about what you observe. When you see a sunset, either the sun's just moving in the sky, or you're falling backwards 1,000 miles per hour, and the sun's sitting still. It just looks like it's moving, which is crazy. And when you see the sun and the moon are the same size, it's because of the same size. When you see the horizon as being flat and horizontal, it's because it's horizontal. That's what horizon means. Have you guys ever been out to the ocean or a lake? It's always flat. We also have something called specular reflections. You can see mountains reflect off the water, for example. You can't have perfect specular reflections if the water's bending at all. It's impossible. Yet we have them all over the world. Another flat earth proof. There's like a few hundred of them. You can actually Google 200 proofs Earth's not a spinning ball, and that'll get you started. Most people can't even make it through it. Their brainwash just like triggers them. 200 proofs the Earth's not a spinning ball. You can also go to your app store and type in flat earth. And there's an app. It costs like $3. So, okay. I keep saying I'm going to take a break. Here's the conclusion. They're trying to build a new world order. I know it sounds crazy, but they're crazy. They shut the whole world down the same day. They're giving you curfews and they're giving you lockdowns. Prisons have lockdowns, not free countries. Stand up for your children before they don't have any rights anymore. And you're going to turn around and be like, damn, I helped build this new future of slavery without even standing up for my children. Okay, and they write about it. The most powerful people in the world in their literature, they know what the Earth is. They know it's flat. You can't be a 33rd Mason unless you know the Earth is flat. The G stands for geometry in their logo. It's a square and a compass. That's how you measure a flat Earth. Okay, they know what it is. They drew a circle around you and they said, stay in your playpen, good slaves. And now in 2021, the slaves don't even know the playpen exists. They don't even know the Antarctic Treaty exists. They don't know they have a circle around them. They're not allowed to leave. And now they are starting a world order inside that circle where they turned it into effectively a universal prison. And they're going to bring back the lockdowns and the curfews in the fall. It was all predicted by many of us that's been censored since the very beginning. Probably a coincidence. Event 201 came out in October 2019, and it predicted all this. Can't go much further into that. So anyway, there you go. That's why it's important. It shows every country lied to you. The Earth is geocentric. That means the center of everything. Here's the biggest impact of the lie, probably, though, arguably. If the Earth's geocentric, that means it was created. So if the Earth is the center of everything, how did it get there? It had to be put there. There's no other way. If the Earth is the center of everything that existed, how did it get there? There's not a scientifically viable option other than it was created. What that means is, you were created. This is not about religion. This is about the necessary antecedents to creation is a creator. So you have a spirit. You didn't come from apes. That's called pseudoscience. It's dumb. They say lightning struck primordial soup and rocks turned into fish that turned into rodents that turned into apes turned into humans. That's all just pseudoscience. The Earth's geocentric, the center of everything. The sky resets in perfect circles around the North Pole star in the center of the sky, directly over the center of the Earth. The Earth's the center of everything. You were created. You have a spirit. Science can't explain intuition or memories. It's probably a lot harder to brainwash you and get you in a new world order if you think you answer to the creator and not the government. But most of you guys wake up every morning and you're like, what did CNN say I'm allowed to wear today? Oh man, let me get my kicks and my keys and where's my mask? Whatever the government says I have to wear, I have to wear. What's my curfew tonight? It's easier to brainwash people if they don't know they're created and powerful and they can manifest things and they have a spirit, they have light inside of them. So what they did was they told you that you came from apes and there's nothing special about you and you just randomly got here out of random happenstance. So there's the conclusion. You should wake up and get right with the creator. Not promoting a religion, promoting just, facts. But I'm going to take a break. So there you go. The Earth's provably flat, but it's a topographical plane, right? It's not smooth, flat. People say you can see forever. No, you can't see forever. You have an angular resolution limit to your eyes. You can't see the atmosphere forever. So no, people say if the Earth was flat, I could see Mount Everest from everywhere. No, you literally couldn't. Okay, but what we can see are mountains from 300 miles away, and it's impossible on a globe Earth, literally. That's why it's censored. You should research it. Biggest lie ever told, arguably. Next to what's going on right now that we can't even talk about. So there you go. Test the radius. You can falsify the radius. It falsifies the entire model. Most of you guys know the government lies, but you think NASA's the one exception. The government lies, but not NASA. The one that worked with Nazis and means to deceive in Hebrew, not them. They're the one exception. They would never lie. So yeah, NASA lied too, just like the rest of the government. Wake up before it's too late. You can come up here and get a QR code if you have any questions you can ask. We're also still offering $100 cash to anyone here that thinks they can get 3 questions right about the globe Earth model. We're so crazy for not believing it. What up, bruh? What up, fam? How you guys doing over the chat, though? How's it going?
Great, how are you?
Can't complain. We got 39%. We're straight. Good job. Thank you. You're amazing. Thank you. How many times does the Earth supposedly spin every day?
It doesn't. Well, am I answering it in a way that?
What we were taught.
Oh, it's supposed to. Wait, one time a day, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. How far away is the sun?
It's like millions, like supposedly millions of miles away.
Get the number right. And
I didn't. Yeah, it's supposed to be like this millions and millions of miles away. I'm not sure of the exact number.
guess one. What can it hurt? I hope it's not on there.
Okay, go back to that one.
Just guess.
Millions of miles away.
That's true, but you gotta guess.
Like 600 or 500, 400 miles away. A million miles. Something stupid.
93 million.
Okay.
I want to give you the bread, but you got to get them right, you know? I'd be broke.
No, you're fine. I just want to, I don't even eat the bread. I just want to know if what I know.
No one knows any of it. Like, the next question is usually, which normally I have this covered. I don't know why I got it pulled down, so. But normally I say, like, what's the radius? This is actually a little off. It says 3965. It's 3939. No one knows that. I take things that are close, though, you know? Like, you don't have to get the exact number, but
No one knows anything. Like, how fast does the Earth spin? Do you know?
It's like that, like, I don't know. They say some stupid number, which just doesn't make sense. Because if I like had a plane and the Earth was spinning that fast, why can't I just go up right here, stop, and then the Earth goes right there?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it just never has made sense.
It doesn't. It's super counterintuitive.
But however, it's nothing that you just have to protect your energy, protect your own your space, and you have to be able to understand that you have to live in a have gratitude, show
Sure.
appreciation for people and stuff like that. We don't know a lot of things. However, we weren't meant to know until it's time for it to be exposed. So a lot of times, like, a lot of people don't want to understand this kind of stuff. But it's okay. Like, as long as you keep putting the bug in their ear, it doesn't matter, because it's gonna pique their interest anyways,
Yeah.
and they're gonna want to. It's inquiring to know, even if they don't believe it. It's hard to believe something that you've been brainwashed for years and years and years and years.
Oh, yeah.
However, it's not unethical. It's not unheard of to, do research. That's what I started doing. Like,
Right.
it just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, how can like you say it? Even in the Bible, like, even if you're not religious, but in the Bible it says like we're in a basically like a globe type of thing, a
dome.
hemisphere
Yeah.
or whatever. Like,
I believe in the Bible.
I do too. You know what I'm
Nice.
saying? It's certain things that, however, I just take different things. Like, I'm stoic. I just take different things for other like people's religion, and I apply it. Like, I know that it's bad to kill, or I know that it's bad to do certain things. However, if you come into my damn house and try
Yeah,
to
of course.
protect my goddamn daughter,
Right.
then I'm gonna have to do what I'm gonna have to do, and I'll just repent later.
Well, that's kill, not murder. It says you can defend yourself.
Right. So it's just like, if you're just out here wilding out, just, you know what I mean, like stealing and like, it's different. Like, it's definitely a difference in how you live life. I don't think God is a narcissist to the point where it's just like but he didn't tell us to do anything that. He's just telling us to get, like, release yourself so you don't have to have all these burdens. We have a lot of burdens that we don't even have to deal with. Like, we don't have to deal with a lot of things, and it's just like we're just wanting the burden just to say we have it, just to say that we did it. Like, and he's like, I can take all that, just chill.
Right.
Like,
Alrighty.
just chill.
Yeah, the scriptures straight up tell you what the Earth is. But I mean, every ancient text ever did. There's a firmament.
The firmament, that's what it's called, the firmament, yeah.
I think that's what this represents.
Yeah?
I don't know.
It's crazy. I was born here, and I never grew up here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was just born here, and they made the thing on February 15th.
I'm on a mission trip here in St. Louis. I'm from Iowa originally.
Okay.
So it's kind of a sheltered area, and there's not really much of the conspiracy stuff.
Sure.
So, like, I know about the flat Earth theory
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, but I've never met someone who actually,
What's up, man? Yeah.
It
So,
was nice talking to you.
You too. My IG and everything's on there.
if the Earth is flat, where do you think the end of it is?
There's something called the Antarctic Treaty. It's illegal to go past the 60th south latitude, which is effectively this right here.
Okay.
It's illegal to go past here. So where the theoretical end is, I don't make a claim to, but there's a container, so it could technically touch down. This could go on infinitely for all I know. I have no idea. It's illegal to go. So, but there are ancient maps that show all kinds of land around here, and lots more water and land outside the ice ring. So I really don't know. But I mean, that's a decent question. But it's every country signed a treaty that says it's illegal for you to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, and most people think, like, can you fall off the edge? Is what what people think, right? But you can't, like, fall off of a lake, right? So the ring is just containing the water. It has a higher elevation. Like, Antarctica is known to have the highest elevation in the world, but they just tell you it's a ice cap on the bottom of a ball, and it's illegal to go there.
So is
So
the
yeah,
Earth kind of like a bowl, almost? Is that how you can't go off the edge, or how?
no, the Earth is flat. Like, whenever we've measured, yeah, I mean, there's mountains and valleys, but it's a topographical plane. Like, you can measure it. You can prove it's not curving. What's on the edge? No one knows, man. Like, no one knows, right?
Because of the
I'd have to speculate. But no globe earther knows either. It's illegal to go there. So that would actually prove the Earth's a globe, right? You would circumnavigate it north to south. It's never been done. It's illegal to even try to do it. You can circumnavigate the Earth like this, east to west, happens every day. But right here, right, north to south, never happens. Never happens. It's illegal to even try it. So yeah, I know. I mean, technically a container could touch down for all we know. Yeah, I don't know. But that's what the scriptures say. Scriptures say there's a firmament stretched out over top of the earth, like a tent. and that we're grasshopper inhabitants within the tent. And the Hebrew word is rakia, right? And so rakia means like beaten out strong as bronze. So it's impenetrable. It separates the heavenly waters from the earthly waters, and it's stretched out like a tent to protect us. I don't know. You believe in the scriptures? Yeah. Yeah. I was making sure you said something about missionary. Yeah, definitely flat Earth book. But see, the way we know there's a container without the scriptures is we have gas pressure, right? So like you can't have gas pressure sitting next to a vacuum. It would instantly fill the vacuum. Like vacuums don't suck, right? But it would instantly fill the vacuum, seeking equilibrium. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. So to have this gas pressure on the Earth, something has to contain it. Like it's the definition of gas pressure is the energy or force exerted on the walls of a container, right? The gas bounces off each other, off the container, builds up pressure. So we have gas pressure here, so it has to be contained. So just what you'll find out is that all of it just supports the scriptures. The scriptures are just right about everything, literally right? So when it says that the Earth's immovable and fixed, they'll say, well, it doesn't really mean that, just metaphorical. It's fixed in orbits or something, right? But it's supposedly spinning and revolving and shooting through space around the sun. But it says it's immovable and fixed and has foundations and corners, and it will never be moved. And of course it says that there's a greater light that rules the day, a lesser light that rules the night, right? And that's the sun and the moon. So that's what I would say. Like, read the scriptures again, just considering it, because like I was raised Baptist and never even thought of anything about what it says about what the earth, like who does? We know what the earth is, and then you just read the Bible. But then when you find out, you're like, wow, this is crazy. I actually cried. So it's a big lie. That's why I'm out here, right? Because everyone thinks they came from nothing and that they're a tiny speck of dust. And the truth is, this place is super special. So everyone thinks if there's a creator, he must be thousands of light years away or something, right? And of course, I get it, like omnipresence, like he could be everywhere he wanted to be. But still, you have to be like super far away. But on the flat earth, like the scriptures define, it says that he uses the earth as a footstool and his throne's right over top of us. So he's like right there, bro. Totally different thing. But if the earth's geocentric, which see the stars do this right here, and they reset around polaris, and the earth, this is directly over the center. And it does it for all recorded history, which means there's geocentric, the center of everything, then it had to be created. So people couldn't even pretend to be atheists. Right, the question would be, do they submit to the real Father, or do they make up their own stories, or do they say they're gods or whatever, right? But they couldn't say that everything came from nothing. I think it's the biggest lie ever to attack the scriptures, but that's my bit of a rant there. And so I'll tell you right now, like if you Google Bible says the earth's a ball, right? What you'll find is Isaiah 40:22 says he drew the earth like a circle. But if you actually look at the Hebrew word, it is for circle. And then in like chapter 22, I believe it is, Isaiah right before that, he uses a different Hebrew word for ball, right? So he's not calling it the ball, he's calling it a circle. But it says he drew like a circle, but there are corners outside of it effectively. So I don't know. So when you ask what's out there, I don't know how big it is. I don't know, man. But yeah, man.
Well, thank you for your time and answering my questions.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And here, I'll give you a card just in case you're interested, man. There's a couple cards. There's a QR code on there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very
for sure.
much.
Thanks for being open-minded, man. What's up, chat? Hopefully you guys heard all of that. I don't see how I can read the super chats. I'm sorry. So wait, let me see the chat again. We got 29%, so we should be good. Yo, what time tomorrow? I don't know. We might come at the same time. It's so hot, bro. Like, there was no way I was coming out here like around lunch or anything. It was so hot. So we might just come do it again tomorrow and then dip out. But yeah, just I checked my emails today, I think. So just go to witsit@protonmail.com. I think I caught up on all of them. In a world, let me drink some water. Yo, that one gamma was triggered. Do you guys see the gamma, bro? Dude, it was so funny. That's why I try to remember to keep a GoPro on me, so even when they try to block the camera and stuff, I'll get them, you know. But I didn't have the backpack on. It's just so hot, I didn't want to wear the backpack. That dude was hilarious, bro. Dude, he was shaking and trembling, like his face was trembling. It was hilarious. I'm gonna jump back on and give my little closing spiel in a second. Don't know how you keep calm. I just know they're all soft and they're not really about it. That dude was a total clown. Yeah, I know, Bob. It's pretty funny. Hey, I'm about to flip the camera. Chris, show you what's on the other side if you guys have never seen this. There you go. Of course, directly lined up and across. There's the most interesting man on flat Earth, the behind-the-scenes MVP. Shout out to all you guys showing love on the donations. I don't know if I can read the super chats, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get someone where the super chat pops up, they screenshot it and then they send it to my other phone. It's the only way I can read the super chats. I can try to see if I can find them, but I'm sorry, guys. I don't see them. They all see, like, they only keep so many of the chats, you know, and then I miss them. Oh, super chats in your phone text, dude. What a legend.
Yeah, he just heard you.
Thank you very much, Jack. All right, shout out to Karen B. Thank you for the super chat. What a legend. Very generous super chat, Jared Bear, Grizzly. Thank you very much for the support and the super chat, man. Much love. Louis T, thank you for the $5 super chat. Much love, bro. Sam Clint, thank you for the $5 super chat. Dats Porter, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Haska Sun, thank you for the $5 super chat. Mariah Martinez, thank you for the $10 super chat. And Cameron Kamikaze Gilmore, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you guys very much. Shout out to all the legends, and thank you, Jack, for doing that. Next game, I just tell him if he answers 3 globe questions, you will close shop up. Yeah, I know, that's what I should do. That dude he just kept calling me dumb, and he's like, I don't want you telling them, and I don't want you brainwashing these guys, and whoever's sending you money on there, you're just stealing their money. And I'm like, bro, you're such a gamma, bro. You're such a gamma, bro. And like, he's like walking up on me. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna need you to chill, man. Shout out to Chainsaw Cat. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Keeps up walking up on me. I'm like, bro, man. Old Austin, bro. Old Austin would have blacked out, bro. Dude, you can hear all the way up. If you can see the bridge up there, you can hear us up there. It's hilarious. Because like I read the ordinance, it says something about like 65 decibels. So like, he asked me to turn it down a little bit. I'm like, okay, because I could hear it. I could literally tell that it was bouncing off all the way over there. And Chris walked over there. So all right, we're gonna jump on the mic for a little bit. If you guys have anything you think I should talk about, tell me. Because I think we got like 20% on the phone. Yeah, shout out to Bob. Thank you for the donation on Cash App. I'm going to read all the donations on Cash App and PayPal off on the computer stream. Or shout out to Bob. Thank you very much for the generous donation. Awesome work, Austin. Thank you. All right, let me grab this thing. Yeah, people still wearing masks, bro. Saw your text, Jack. Tell him that it's immovable and fixed. Oh, I told him, bro. We see too far. Yeah, we do. Should talk about government being illegitimate. Not too close to your mouth. Oh, sorry. Was it too close? Thank you, no doubt. What's up, Cammy? Legend. Yahweh or the highway? You made me say Yahweh. All right, here we go. Inner world. Hey, did you guys know they actually lied about the Earth? It's not a spinning ball. The Earth's actually not a spinning ball. The Earth is actually flat. That sounds crazy, huh? The Earth's actually flat. Provably, you can prove it. Yeah. I know you've been told crazy stories about what we think, and oh, could you fall off the edge and all this nonsense. You can measure the surface of the Earth and prove that it isn't curving at the rate that is required based on the certain size they claim the Earth is. You can prove it. This is why the government censors it. Do you guys agree the government shouldn't be allowed to censor what you're allowed to talk about? Right? Because even if you think I'm crazy, you should at least agree that I have the right to say it. Right? I actually had friends die for that. Huh. Because apparently the government disagrees, and when it comes to flat Earth, it's quote-unquote dangerous misinformation. You know what's dangerous about it? It shows that they lied, right? And believe it or not, the heliocentric model hasn't even been taught in America for about a century. If you Google, it'll say it's like 2,000 years ago. We proved the Earth was a globe, and you'll read a story about Aristophanes sticking sticks in the ground and seeing shadows. And even though it works perfectly on a flat Earth, Google won't tell you that. But you can do it and replicate it. But anyway, so most people didn't think the Earth was a ball. Like, it wasn't like everyone thought the Earth was a ball. So when they went to the moon, that's when they supposedly proved it. When they supposedly went to the moon. So if they faked the moon landing, it's getting real. Now, a lot of people my age don't believe in the moon landing. Some people still do. You should definitely look into it. Be open-minded. 1 in 3 Americans at the time didn't believe in the moon landing. Okay? I actually have a video of Buzz Aldrin saying in an interview on a late night show, he said, I remember we saw you on TV landing on the moon. He said, no, you didn't. You saw an animation. This is what Buzz Aldrin said. No, you saw an animation. There was no one there on the moon already to tape us when we got there. So you just saw an animation. All you did was hear my voice. He said, pretty good lie, though. Literally came out of Buzz Aldrin's own mouth. But anyway, so they claim they still can't go back to the moon. So if you think we went in 1969, why can't we go back? Let's just be logical here for a second, right? I have an iPhone 12 Pro right here that's live streaming this. It has better processing than a warehouse of computers in 1969. An entire warehouse of computers didn't have the processing speed of my iPhone. And you guys think that we can't replicate the technology from 1969? The official narrative is that we destroyed the technology that got us to the moon. Why would you do that? It's the world's biggest accomplishment ever. That's the official excuse. Don Pettit, an astronaut, was asked about going to the moon. He said, I would go back to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we destroyed that technology. And it's a painful process to build it back. They say it's too dangerous to go. Now, you have to get really far away from the Earth in theory to see it in entirety and prove it's a sphere, right? Well, they supposedly did this in 1972. They took a picture in the Apollo missions. And then they took the Earthrise picture, right? But they haven't been able to do it since then. And so when you see pictures, if you Google pictures of the Earth from space, you'll see pictures, but they're actually not pictures. NASA admits they're cartoons, right? And so the reason it comes down to, just research it honestly. If the moon landing's fake, there is no supposed real picture of the Earth from space. NASA admits that what we have right now are just cartoons. Trust me, I thought this was the craziest thing I've ever heard when I first heard it. I didn't know, though. I thought the blue marble was a real picture of the Earth. And I know most of you guys think that too. Well, go read NASA, they'll tell you it's not. They'll tell you it's a cartoon. NASA says that on their own website. If they take high altitude pictures, stitch it together in a flat map surface, a flat map, over months and months of compilation of pictures, and then they wrap it around a theoretical sphere, and they bring an artist in to paint it effectively, to do an artist rendition. Robert Simmons is the artist that did the blue marble. He's quoted as saying, of course it's photoshopped, it has to be. So we don't have real pictures of the Earth from space. According to the people at NASA, which of course is just us even blindly believing what the government has to say anyway. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't depend our whole worldview on the government, especially an entity that worked with Nazis, declassified Operation Paperclip. We brought Nazis over here, and supposedly a Nazi took us to the moon. Did you guys know that? Supposedly a Nazi took us to the moon. His name was Werner von Braun, an SS officer of the Nazi regime. He was put in charge of space exploration and supposedly took us to the moon because he built rockets for the Germans and was a really intelligent scientist, right? So I'm not going to get into the minutiae of World War II, but
According to the narrative, the Nazis were terrible people, right? So I thought we were supposed to hang them for war crimes, but as opposed to we bring them over here and revere them as scientific geniuses, we put them in charge of the space exploration program. His name is Wernher von Braun. Wernher von Braun put Psalms 19:1 on his tombstone. Psalms 19:1 says that the firmament shows the handiwork of the Creator. Again, firmament comes from the Hebrew word rakia, means strong as bronze, beating something out of bronze. It's impenetrable. It's stretched out like a tent over top of the earth, and we're grasshopper inhabitants in it. That's what the scripture said. Now, why did he put a Bible verse called from 19:1, Psalms 19:1, that says there's a firmament that would prevent you from going to space in theory if he's supposedly the one that took us to space? You can Google it, look at his tombstone, it's Psalms 19:1, right? So what he did was he left the cat out of the bag on his deathbed. He basically couldn't go down with a lie. Something else that Wernher von Braun did, the SS officer, he wrote a science fiction book in the 50s. And in this science fiction book, the main character's title is Elon. And in the book, guess what Elon does? He takes people to Mars for the first time. You guys ever heard of Elon Musk supposedly about to take us to Mars? I guess that the Nazi was a prophet. He predicted Elon Musk would take us to the Mars. So anyway, Wernher von Braun, Nazi, supposedly took us to the moon. I guess that's why we can't go back, we're out of Nazis. So they admit they destroyed the technology. The telemetry data would prove that they went. It was miles and miles long of tape. They accidentally recorded over all of it or lost the rest of it. Official story. They lost all the physical evidence of the moon landing, the telemetry data. They admit that. Miles and miles of it, lost it. The world's biggest accomplishment ever. I'll just record over the proof of it. They supposedly brought moon rocks back too. And they gave the moon rocks to different governments. One of the governments was Holland. Holland tested the moon rock, and it actually turned out to be petrified wood. So if they really went to the moon, why would they have to bring back fake moon rocks? That's weird. Supposedly they went all the way to the moon. They called the president from 250,000 miles away, and he picked up and talked to him on a landline with no delay. Yet I documented a SpaceX launch this year, actually 2 of them, and at about very low altitude, they have a 1.5 second delay with communications in 2021. They did not call the president from 250,000 miles away on a landline with no delay. And by the way, guess what those SpaceX launches do? They shoot the rocket in the air and they come back down over the water. It's called parabolic trajectory. I have it documented. So anyway, they didn't go to the moon. It's a big part of the conversation because this is when everyone thought they proved the Earth was a ball. That's when your mom and dad believed it, your grandparents believed it. It was settled. Now you and people my age, we just grew up just knowing the moon landing was a thing. Most people haven't even looked at the video. Some people think it might have been fake, but it's because they're hiding aliens or they were trying to beat Russia, so they lied, right? No. They lied because they went and explored the Antarctic region. They found out what was out there, and then they signed a treaty that said you can't go there. And they said, but don't worry, look at space. And then they went to space and said, we proved it's a ball, which means it has a finite amount of land. Here's a picture of it. So there you go. They lied. And I can tell you the whole outline of events. You can research all of it. 1945, Operation Paperclip. That's where we brought Nazis over here. We stuck paperclips in different folders to pick out the different Nazi scientists they wanted to bring over here. Operation Paperclip, declassified. That was 1945. 1946, Operation High Jump. The U.S. military went and explored the Antarctic region. They used someone called Admiral Byrd to spearhead this, a well-decorated admiral for the U.S. military. Admiral Byrd then came back on national television in 1954, and he said, it's astonishing to me there's an area as big as the continental U.S. on the other side of Antarctica that no one knows about with tons of resources. He then mysteriously died 3 years later, as did his son within that time. In 1957 is when he died. And then in 1958, they founded NASA, which in Hebrew means to lift up and or to deceive. Probably a coincidence, as it has a snake tongue going through its logo. Anyway, that was 1958. In 1959, they signed the Antarctic Treaty, which says it's illegal for us as the general public to go explore this region. So this is all declassified and admitted. The official narrative of what happened is admitted. They went and explored the Antarctic region. They came back and said, you can't go there. And China and Russia and the United States all agree on this. All of our enemies, You guys watch the news and get scared of China every day. It's like, dude, they work with the U.S., bro. Chill out. They're still in the treaty together. This is why it's such a big lie. It shows that the government are lying to people. See, they keep us divided. So I'm going to digress a little bit. They keep us divided because that's how you conquer people. Divide and conquer. So they keep you divided by politics. Right or left. Did you know that every U.S. president is related? Did you guys know that? Every U.S. president was related and tracks back to English royalty. Every one of them, including Obama. Probably a coincidence. So how kind of them. We get to pick someone out of the family reunion every 4 years. Right? Now, there are principles behind it that, we won't get into specifics. It's very polarizing, right? But they keep you divided based on politics. Joe Biden or Trump? How about neither one? They're both psychos. So they keep you divided with politics. They keep you divided with race. Did you guys know that race isn't actually real? It's called the human race. I don't change race throughout the summer. We all have different color skin. Get over it. It's not a big deal. We're the human race. But they keep us divided with race. They keep us divided with all these different things so that they can divide and conquer. The powers in the people. We're the majority. If we came together, they could never tell us what to do. So there you go. Just, pull out of the matrix a little bit. There's something called Operation Mockingbird, also declassified. You can read it, 600-page document. The CIA has infiltrated the mainstream news. It's called Operation Mockingbird. Declassified. So whenever the CIA representative was asked about this in Congress, the guy asked him, so are you saying that the news anchors are CIA agents? And he said, we'll have to continue this conversation behind closed doors. This is on record, a video. You can look it up. And Operation Mockingbird tells you that they have to control the public narrative via the mainstream news for national security purposes. So when you watch the news every day, it's only the script that's okayed by the CIA, and some of the anchors are actually agents. And they keep you divided. Left and right, left and right. Be scared of the air. As you guys know, you have something called lungs, You don't need the government's permission to breathe oxygen. The Creator didn't make it where the thing that keeps you alive is going to kill you. Can't get too specific. I already kicked off YouTube. But lockdown is a prison term, not a free country term. Free countries don't have curfews and lockdowns. That's what prisons have. Oh, just 2 weeks and we'll get back to normal. Just 2 weeks. That was a year and a half ago. And don't worry, your lockdown's coming back in the fall. So I can't talk about it anymore. That's as much as I can say. Because we're in such a free country, I can't talk about it. But anyway, you can't even read medical journals word for word on YouTube anymore. It gets deleted. Oh, man. Medical misinformation. You reading medical journals word for word. Cool story, bro. So there you go. They keep us divided. This is a big lie. Because if we could come together as a people, we would have the power. Then you wouldn't pass on a slave state to your children where they don't even know what mommy and daddy look like anymore. They haven't seen their face in a year and a half, and they've been told to be scared of the air. They've been told that curfews and lockdowns are normal. They don't know what freedom is. So it's a pretty big deal. That's why we're traveling the United States. But we'll get back on topic. So every major country has signed this treaty that says you can't go here. So that's effectively a circle around you. Now on a globe Earth, it's a circle on the bottom of a ball. It's around an ice cap. On a flat Earth, it's a circle drawn around you. Okay? They drew a circle around you, and they said you can't go past there and explore it. It's illegal. Antarctic Treaty. This is what we prove the Earth's a ball, bro. Okay? There's also something called the second law of thermodynamics. You can't have gas pressure sitting next to a vacuum. It's impossible. The second law says it's impossible. Pressure fills the available space. Systems seek spontaneous equilibrium. So heat goes to cold. If you make a cup of coffee, it cools off because the heat goes to the cool air around it. That's called the second law of thermodynamics. High pressure goes to low pressure. If you have a soda and you open it up, it goes psh. That's because it equalizes to the lower pressure outside of the soda. So the reason your soda is fresh is because it's tightly sealed and it has a higher pressure. It's carbonated. As soon as you open it up, it equalizes to the lower pressure. Psh. Okay? that's high pressure going to low pressure, instantaneously seeking equilibrium. Well, most of you guys are breathing oxygen. That's gas. There's a gas pressure sitting next to a near-perfect vacuum in the globe Earth model. This is impossible. The pressurized system would instantaneously seek equilibrium and fill the vacuum. There has to be a container to have gas pressure. It's actually in the definition of gas pressure. Energy or force exerted on the walls of a container. It's actually in the word pressure. Pressure. It presses on the walls of a container.
The Earth is round.
How so?
The Earth is round! Don't listen to him! The Earth is round!
I'll give you $100 if you can answer 3 questions about it.
Fire away.
Okay. How far away is the sun?
94. How many billion light years? I don't know. It's
Billions of light years. Okay. It's 93 million miles, but we'll ask you another question. What's the circumference of the Earth?
A lot of miles.
A lot of miles. What's the radius?
1,000 miles.
No, 3,959 miles. How fast does the Earth supposedly spin?
The Earth is round!
There you go, you two. That's what we get. So you admit you know nothing about it.
It's round. Have you seen pictures from space?
NASA admits they're not real pictures. Did you know that?
What source did you get that?
NASA.gov. Did you know that?
But what inspires
You know how conversations work?
I'll answer you.
Okay. Did you know NASA? Okay, NASA admits they're not real. You can go on. What's your
But
question?
I have a question. What inspires you to go out here and talk about this?
Well, we can prove that they lied, and that means that they're lying to children, and that means that they drew a circle around us, and they told us we have to stay within it.
Do you go to the Flat Earth thing every year?
There are conventions, yeah, but no, Flat Earth Society is not real. It doesn't have one real Flat Earther in it. It's disinformation. But yeah, there are conventions. So, did you know we could see the skyline of Chicago 60 miles across Lake Michigan? And based on the globe Earth, it should have been completely blocked by the curve of the Earth. How does that work?
But what? So you really are dead set on convincing people that the Earth isn't round?
Well, quarters are round, right? And they're also not a sphere. But, so
Is the Earth a sphere?
no, provably not a sphere.
But what do you think it is, sphere or flat?
It's provably flat. Because I just told you, like, you can measure the surface. So if the Earth's a ball with a certain size, it has to block your view. It has to curve at a certain rate. It doesn't do that. We have mountains from 273 miles away. Based on the globe Earth math, they should have been blocked by 3 miles of Earth curve.
You have such great communication skills. Why are you wasting it on this?
Because this is the biggest lie ever told. So yeah, I could have taken my sales rep job for 6 figures starting off. I didn't. I don't
Do you
sell
have
out for money, though.
a faith background of any sort?
I do believe in the scriptures, but that's not why I think the Earth is flat. Yeah, it just makes the scriptures viable again because it means it's literally accurate from the beginning.
So, are you connected with a church in the area?
No.
on, Bex.
I'm traveling the U.S., not from here, and I'm not big on churches.
Are you from Kentucky or the East Coast? Or?
I'm from Tennessee. Yeah, going around the whole U.S.
How many stops do you make on?
We've been all down the southeast, all the way up to the northeast, back
How
across.
are you paying for this?
Using my own money or donations.
You have an incredible sound system.
Thank you,
And
man.
you have incredible speaking skills.
Appreciate it, bro.
You really do.
Much love, bro.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, bro. In a world where no one knows what the world is. I am about to wrap this up because my phone's going to die, but look, I'll tell you what happened to me, right? I heard that the Earth was supposedly flat. I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, wow, 2021, or more so 21st century, I heard about it 5 years ago. People actually think the Earth is flat? What a bunch of psychopaths. We've been to space. We have pictures of the Earth from space. This is stupid. How could people even be this dumb? We have satellites. What's up?
Did Adam and Eve have a belly button?
No, they actually reproduce differently than we do. Until the fall. That's pretty funny, though. So I was like, nah, man, the Earth can't be flat. That's dumb. We know the Earth's a ball. We've been to space. We have satellites, whatever. So what I did was like, all I got to do... Oh, man. Just a second. Sorry about that. So I was like, yeah, all I got to do is Google pictures of the Earth from space. It'll shut this up real fast. This is because I was listening to a rapper called B.O.B. He came out with a bunch of Elements mixtapes talking about conspiracy theories I had already looked into, like chemtrails and the Federal Reserve. right? And he was right about it. So I told my friends, most people don't want to hear substantive truth. They just want to go to sleep, and they want to work their 9 to 5, and they just want to watch the news and watch a sports team. So I was like trying to wake up my friends. Like, there are big things going on. They're lying to us. We need to wake up. Fluoride's actually bad for you, yet it's in your water, and they're giving it to children. They wouldn't listen, but I'm like, okay, well, maybe you listen to a rapper, right? Because it's music, it's 3 minutes, it's got a beat. So I told my friends about him. Then he came out with a mixtape talking about the earth is flat, and I'm like, wow, you just made me look dumb to all my friends that I've been trying to get to listen to me forever. So I researched it just to prove it wrong. I was like, I'll just prove the earth's a globe, this is stupid. Well, if you honestly try to prove the earth's a globe, you'll become a flat earther. So what I did was I Googled pictures of the earth from space. This is easy. Uh-oh. The supposed real picture of the earth from space is from 1972 Apollo missions when they supposedly went to the moon. Right? But I already knew the moon landings were fake. I thought they faked them because they were trying to beat Russia. You know? And it's like, people haven't ever watched the movie. People don't know that they brought rocks back that were tested and actually falsified as being moon rocks. They were petrified wood. But people don't know that. So they just, all they gotta do is make fun of me as they walk away. Anyway, so I already knew all that. I thought they lied because they had to beat the Soviet Union, the communists, right? So I knew I couldn't trust that picture. But I'm like, we have pictures outside of that. We have satellites in space, right? And then I found out NASA admits that they're not real pictures. And Blue Marble is just a cartoon. It's a Photoshop cartoon. And NASA admits that on their own website, nasa.gov Blue Marble. Go read it for yourself. This was the most infamous picture of the Earth in the entire world. It was a default picture for iPhones. But it's not a real picture of the Earth in space. So I'm like, this is getting weird. So how about you Google right now? Google satellites in space and press images and see what pops up. Nothing but cartoons. Nothing but cartoons. So I'm like, this is getting really weird. And then I found out we saw Chicago across Lake Michigan from 60 miles away. I'm like, how does that work? That's not possible. And I kept researching and kept researching. Found out gravity's a theory, doesn't even work, off by 95%. I found out there's a medium background is the only logical way you can have anything propagate. They hid it because it would prove the Earth's not spinning. I found out the sky resets for all recorded history around Polaris directly over the North Pole, and it's reset for thousands and thousands of years and does the exact same thing. But yet they tell us we're spinning 1,000 miles per hour, going around the sun 66,600 miles per hour, while the sun shoots 500,000 miles per hour, while the galaxy shoots 1.3 million miles per hour. Yet we see the same exact sky reset in perfect circles for thousands and thousands of years. And if you're being honest, you guys didn't know that. That's one of the biggest basic fundamental truths they hid from people, because it doesn't really add up in your mind. So there you go. I started finding out what I had to do was I had to learn everything about the Earth. I had to learn out what they say, what all the evidence was, how they proved everything. It took a lot of effort. I get it. It's like most people don't want to, put that much effort into something, especially when it makes them uncomfortable. Because if the Earth's actually flat, that means a lot of people lied, and people don't want to accept that reality. Well, don't worry. Conveniently for you, in 2021, we've done all the work for you. All you have to do is find us because we're heavily censored. That's why we try to give out our business card. I mean, that's not going to make money, but anyway, they lied about the Earth. It's provable, okay? Don't make it weird. We didn't lie to you. We're just trying to wake you up. And we're traveling the U.S. to do it. So here are the implications of the lie, and I'm going to wrap this up. Provably they lied. The Earth is the center of everything. That means it was created. You were created. You have a spirit. So to any children that can hear me, no, you didn't come from apes. That's a lie. You are not an animal. You're a human. And humans have domain on the Earth. You're very powerful. Did you know science can't even fully explain how the eye works yet? It had to be designed. They can't even explain how the eye works yet. You have a spirit. You have a soul. You're powerful. Okay? You were beautifully made in the image of the Creator, and don't let someone try to lie to you and take that away from you. You have tons of power, and you have a spirit. And the Creator loves you, and He made this earth for you, and He gave you lots of power on it. Don't let them try to take from it. And you should stand up for the children, which is why I go around the U.S. doing this. They're being lied to from a young age. Most people think they're atheists. There is no such thing as atheism. Doesn't even exist. The etymology of atheism means no creator. No one can say they know for a 100% fact that there's no creator. No one can say that. Much love.
Amen, you too.
Amen. So no one is actually atheist. You may be agnostic, right? You don't know. Well, I encourage you to humble yourself, read the scriptures, and you can find out. If you seek the truth, you find it. He told us that, and He doesn't lie. Just like He didn't lie from the beginning when He told you what the earth was, but we've been taught to say, no, it's just a metaphor. No, it's just literally telling you what the earth is. There's a firmament over top of it that protects you. Okay, it takes shape like clay under a sill. It's immovable and fixed. It has foundations. The entire world will see Yeshua when He comes back. How's that work on the ball? There's nothing new under the sun. So there you go. You have the Spirit. You're very powerful. I know the Scriptures are true. I also know that religion has tainted a lot of stuff and changed it and took some books out, changed the translations, changed the main character's name, changed his birthday and stuff. Right? But you don't need men. What you need to do is humble yourself and talk to the Creator yourself. Religion is trash, but the Messiah hated religion. You don't have a religion with your Father, you have a relationship. So in conclusion, that's what I would say. Like, look, man, I get it, religion sucks, it's used for lots of control. There's a lot of people that do mental gymnastics to make up stories. They don't even all agree. There's denominations left and right. They always get money, tax-free. I understand your frustration. But if men have tainted it, it doesn't mean that it isn't true. The truth is independent of what people have done to it. Right? And so you were created, the earth is the center of everything. It's geocentric. There's no other way that it could be here. You have a Spirit. Okay, so they're removing your power. I just want you to know that you have that power. If we come together and we all realize that we have that power, they can't control us anymore. I think it'd be a lot harder to have a slave state if you knew you answered to the Creator and not to the government. No, the government doesn't tell you what you're allowed to wear or what your curfew is. The Earth's actually flat, they lie. The Earth's flat.
Flat what?
The Earth is flat.
Why you say that?
Because we measured it, they lie. It's not curving. You can see way too far.
Earth? How you measure? How you did that?
Like you can, for example, you just go out and you look out, right, with a camera, with a really high power zoom. Like you can see mountains from 273 miles away. And based on the globe Earth, that's in France. And based on the globe Earth math, it should have been blocked by 3 miles of Earth curve. And we have hundreds of them. Here, you can take this card. There's a QR code on there.
You went to French?
No, my homie did in France.
I've been French.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think the Earth's flat though.
Well, yeah, I would have thought it was crazy when I first started.
I know what you're talking about.
Well, keep looking at it.
It's a lot of things flat, but Earth is not one of the flat.
You ought to check it out.
Huh?
Check it out, bro.
Some people got their own opinion, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But you can prove it. But I get it. Sounds crazy.
I did prove it, but I didn't do it.
You agree the government lies?
I travel a lot.
Yeah.
So I see every country you can name right now.
And they use a flat map projection.
Yeah, flat map. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and that's how you travel.
Huh?
That's how you travel.
Yeah, but you can't make the map round. That's confusing.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, it just works. It's what the Earth actually is. It sounds crazy, but my IG's on there. You can DM me. You got questions?
Huh?
I'll encourage you to look into it though, bro, because it's a pretty big deal, right?
You from here?
Nah, I'm from Tennessee, West Tennessee, close to Memphis.
Are you just chilling here?
We're traveling the U.S., so going to every prominent place.
You get paid for that?
I got people that donate. Yeah, for sure. Look into it, my man.
I'm from Texas.
That's when I was born.
I'm from Houston.
Nice. I was born in Fort Hood. My dad was
But
stationed.
I lived here for 20 years though.
Really?
Yeah, I moved to Houston until 18.
Word.
Yeah, I lived for 10 years.
You like it here?
Yeah.
Straight. Let me write this up, bro. Alright, just so you guys know, they lied about the Earth. I know it sounds crazy. I thought it was crazy too. The government always lies. When do they not lie? Why do they lie about the Vietnam War and 9/11 and the Tuskegee experiment when they injected the African American community with syphilis and many of them died? I don't know. You tell me. The government always lies. When doesn't the government not lie? But it's time that we come together, we take our power back, and we demand the truth. The government doesn't get to tell us that there's a circle around us called the Antarctic treaty that we can't privately explore past. They don't get to tell us where we can go. They don't get to tell us when we can breathe. Alright? It's time that we stand up, and we stand up for our rights and for our children's rights, because you got to grow up free, but now your children know what the word lockdown is. They know what curfews are. They know what being scared of the air is. Right? So we need to stand up for our children before it's too late. We got to stand up and pass over a free generation to them as opposed to an enslavement state. So that's the point here. So wake up before it's too late. Watch out for the digital tracking system. They're conditioning you for the mark of the beast as they scan your wrist and forehead as you walk in to identify yourself to buy, sell, and trade as every single country shut down the same day. Just, 1,000-year-old prophecy, probably coincidence. Wake up, get right with the Father. Don't worry about religion now. You have a relationship with your Father. You don't have a religion. Religion sucks. But you're very powerful. You have a Spirit. The Creator loves you. The earth was created for you. Look into it. It sounds crazy. You can prove it. You can test the surface of the earth. It doesn't curve anywhere. If the surface of the earth isn't curving anywhere, what is it? It's obviously flat. It's geocentric. It means the center of everything, and it's stationary. The sky moves over top of you in perfect cycles. So research it. I encourage you to be open-minded. Peace out. All right. There you go, guys. Probably should charge it now. Oh, I'm gonna have to play this song. Let me just take this. What up, chat? I need to charge the phone.
Good job, bro. Thank you. Amazing handling of your living juice. Yeah, no problem. Epic stream. Thank you, guys. I know it gets a bit redundant, but I got to break down all the basics for them, you know. Take your text. I will do. Brightness up. Bruh. Alright, there you go. My beard's so hard to tame, yo. Don't change a thing else. Thank you, man. Won't do. J-Law, woo, fire. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Bro from West Tennessee also. Nice, man. The app is all you need to flat smack, yeah, for sure. But people have to be willing to buy the $3 app, right? That's the whole problem. Awesome interaction with those lost folks. Thanks, man. I'm probably not gonna go get on like on the speaker again tonight. You know, like that was what, 2 hours. But we'll probably do some again tomorrow, and then we're gonna head to maybe. I hear a lot of people ask me to go to Kansas City, so go ahead and email me about Kansas City. But just so you know, like we're gonna swoop through it, right? So we'll be here probably tomorrow, and then we'll swoop through Kansas City, pop back up towards Minnesota. We got to get back to Idaho, across to Idaho by the 6th, and we got to hit Yellowstone and Mount Rushmore, right? So, Columbus, Ohio is it's too far out of the way, bro. Maybe on the way back, but probably not, honestly. Keep crushing. Thank you, Kingdom and Context. Much love. You keep crushing, bro. Thank you for the super chat, man. Go sub to Kingdom and Context if you're not already. Keep speaking truth. You're a legend. Thank you, Pops the Legend, for the kind words and the super chat. Much love. Come to Denver. We're gonna go to Denver. Any major city like that, you know. But like everyone wants to hit me up in like decent sized cities. We can't literally go everywhere. Yo, we just as like basically a favor, we went all the way back to Indy. Like, you know how many miles that is? Like we filled the tank and went all the way back to Indy just to go out of our way to go to that rally. So we're doing the best we can, but we can't do everything. All right, I'm gonna play the Kingdom of Context is awesome. Sean's spot on. Yeah, absolutely. He's crushing. Knoxville. Yeah, maybe. I can see your energy on top level. Very nice. Thank you, man. Denver Airport would be epic. Yeah, for sure. I don't know how much we can get away with there. I'll have to figure it out. Oh, man. All right, so we're going to get something to eat, bro. Must catch up with Authentic Intent before it snows. Yeah, we're going to see him in a little bit. Like, we got to be back in Idaho by August 6th, so we're going to see him before then. So, I got his number, though. All right, I'm going to play a song so we can get out of here. Just show you guys the arc, but thanks for kicking it. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. So who cares whether people think they're dumb? Intelligent people don't care what dumb people think. Strong people don't care what weak people think, and informed people don't care what ignorant people think. And actually rejoice whenever they revile you for His name's sake, for they did it to all the prophets before you. So if you're not being like attacked, you're probably not doing something right. Let's just be real about it. So there you go. I love you guys. Peace out.
That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting steady high, steady sipping pills. Glorify suicide so they can get the deals. Big Pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is That's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Rappers acting steady high, steady simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real?
Alright, love you guys. Thanks for kicking it. Mocking the firmament. Yeah, certainly symbolizing it. If you want to support the tour, $ Witsit gets it on Cash App, Witsit at protonmail.com on PayPal, masqueradetour.com, contact and donate information. Try to keep it updated. Love you guys. Catch up with you later. Read all the donations out on the computer stream. And seek and speak truth unequivocally. Peace out.